Thank you for watching my latest video in my series entitled Searching for the Messiah in Judaic Scriptures. I'd like to start out today by reading the important prophecy found in Daniel chapter 9. And this prophecy speaks of eternal or everlasting righteousness being ushered into the earth. Let's take a look at Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, which reads this way. 70 weeks are decreed upon thy people and upon the holy city, to finish the transgression, and to make an end of sin, and to forgive iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal vision and prophet, and to anoint the most holy place. I want to stop there because the 70 weeks that are being spoken of here do not refer to 70 weeks where the weeks are filled with days, but 70 weeks where the weeks are filled with years. In other words, a week will have 7 years, and 70 weeks refers to 70 weeks filled with 7 years, which equals 490 years. And we see here that in that 490 year period, everlasting righteousness will be ushered in and an end of sin will be made. Let's look at verse 25. Know therefore and discern that from the going forth of the word to restore and to build Jerusalem unto one anointed, a prince shall be 7 weeks, and for 62 weeks it shall be built again, with broad place and moat, but in troublous times. So I want to stop there because out of the 490 years that it just spoke of, it is telling you that for 400 years plus, the city of Jerusalem will be rebuilt. And we know that there were various decrees made for the city to be rebuilt. And now we look at verse 26, which says, and after the 62 weeks shall an anointed one be cut off, and be no more. And the people of a prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. But his end shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And we see here that there will be a prince that will destroy the city and will destroy the sanctuary. And we know that Jerusalem stood for 400 years plus, but then it was destroyed along with its sanctuary. And in verse 27, it gives us the culmination of the prophecy, which states, and he shall make a firm covenant with many for 1 week, and for half of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the offering to cease. And upon the wing of detestable things shall be that which causeth appalment, and that until the extermination wholly determined be poured out upon that which causeth appalment. So we see here that at the culmination of the prophecy, at the culmination of the 490 years that the prophecy started out talking about, and the destruction of the temple would take place. And it says that the sacrifice and the offering would cease. And the sacrifices and the offerings that took place in the temple in Jerusalem have never been offered again since 70 CE, since Rome destroyed it in 70 CE. And so we see that the prophecy starts talking here in verse 24 about 490 years. And then it talks about 400 plus years where Jerusalem is built. And then it continues and says that afterwards, Jerusalem and the temple would be destroyed. And so at this point, you might say, wait a minute, I thought that this was a time where everlasting righteousness was to be ushered in. And what we see here is that in those 490 years, righteousness was ushered in at one point. The transgressions had ended and the end of sin had been made. And yet we don't see the utopia, the peace of God, the perfect world that we thought would occur. And what we have to, I think, divorce is these two ideas that the atonement for sin and the coming of the Messiah will come hand in hand. Apparently, one precedes the other. The atonement for sin, the ending of transgression must happen to pave the way for the Messiah to come. And we see here in the book of Daniel that it happened within a 490 year period. Now, there is someone here on YouTube claiming that though the 490 years have already expired, that there is some more atonement, some more repentance to be made for the Messiah to be able to step onto the scene. And what I want to tell you is that either it happened already or it will never happen, because there is not another time frame given. There's not another time frame given for the atonement of sin to take place. It either took place already or it will never take place. God does not speak of an additional 490 years. There is no prophet. It either happened and everlasting righteousness was ushered in, or it will never happen. How does that fit with your idea of the coming of the Messiah? I look forward to hearing your comments. As always, take care.